There comes a moment in life when you must stop confusing forgiveness with foolishness. Some people didn't hurt you by accident. They studied your kindness, they memorized your weaknesses, and then they used them against you. That wasn't a mistake, it was a choice. They didn't slip up and break your heart. They aimed, they fired, and they smiled while doing it. And yet, here you are, still wondering if maybe they've changed, still debating whether you should give them another chance. But let me tell you something. People who damage you intentionally do not deserve a second opportunity to do it again. They knew what they were doing. They saw the way you trusted them. They recognized how deeply you cared, and they weaponized it. You gave them love. They gave you pain. You gave them loyalty. They gave you betrayal. You gave them patience. They gave you excuses. And every time you think about letting them back in, you're not showing love. You're showing that you've forgotten the lesson that pain tried to teach you. You're not supposed to rebuild bridges that were burned on purpose. You're supposed to let the ashes remind you why the fire started in the first place. The truth is, they never expected you to walk away. They counted on your heart being too forgiving, too emotional, too attached. They believed you would always answer that message, always accept that apology, always believe the same promises spoken by the same mouth that once lied to you. But growth means disappointing those who expected you to stay broken. Growth means finally realizing that closure isn't about hearing, "I'm sorry." It's about saying, "I'm done." You cannot heal in the same place that broke you. You cannot trust the same hands that pushed you down. Oh, when someone damages you intentionally, they reveal who they are, not who they might become. And the moment you give them a second chance, you give them permission to repeat the same pain under a different excuse. The strongest move you can make is silence. Not revenge, not anger, just distance. Walking away without turning back is louder than any argument you could ever make. So stop waiting for them to be different. Stop hoping for the apology that will never change what they did. You are not obligated to be kind to someone who fed off your kindness. You are not weak for protecting your peace. You're wise. Because now you understand the difference between an accident and a choice. They didn't just break your heart, they studied it first. Don't give them a second chance to finish what they started. Let them live with the memory of losing someone who would have loved them forever. If only they hadn't chosen to destroy you. Some people will disguise their cruelty as care. They will act innocent after doing the very thing they knew would break you, pretending it was all a misunderstanding, an accident, a moment of weakness. But deep down, you know it wasn't. It was deliberate. They knew your heart, they knew your story, they knew your vulnerabilities. And they use them as weapons. That's not a mistake, that's a plan. Intentional damage is different. It's when someone studies your kindness, observes how much you're willing to forgive, and then uses that knowledge to hurt you in ways that cut the deepest. They know which words will make you doubt yourself, which actions will make you feel small, and which lies will keep you stuck hoping for change. The hardest part about realizing someone hurt you intentionally is accepting that their actions were never about confusion. They were about control. They hurt you to feel powerful, to manipulate your emotions, to remind you that they could. And you, with your pure heart, kept making excuses for them because you couldn't imagine doing something like that to anyone. You thought, maybe they didn't mean it. Maybe they're just lost. But the truth is, some people aren't lost. They're fully aware of the darkness they create. They get satisfaction from watching you crumble because your pain validates their power. When you finally understand that their actions were intentional, it changes how you see everything. The apology they never gave, the promises they broke, the love they withheld, it all becomes clear. They didn't forget to care, they chose not to. They didn't make a mistake, they made a decision. And that decision was to take advantage of your compassion. That's why it's dangerous to see malice as a misunderstanding. Because once you label deliberate cruelty as a mistake, you open the door for it to happen again. Recognizing that someone damaged you intentionally doesn't make you bitter. It makes you awake. It teaches you to stop romanticizing people's potential and start believing their patterns. When someone shows you who they are through consistent harm, you must believe them the first time. Because the longer you hold on to the illusion that it was accidental, the longer you'll suffer in the cycle they created. Some people hurt you because it benefits them, and no amount of love, loyalty, or forgiveness will change that truth. When you give someone another chance after they've already shown you their ability to destroy your peace, You're not giving them grace. You're handing them the same weapon they used to wound you the first time. People who hurt you intentionally don't suddenly forget how to be cruel. They just learn to disguise it better. They come back with softer words, sweeter apologies, and a convincing story about how they've changed. But if you look closely, their intentions remain the same. Their words are painted differently, but their actions carry the same poison. Each time you reopen the door, you're teaching them that your forgiveness has no boundaries, that your love can be exploited endlessly. The pattern repeats because they know your weakness, your heart. They know you value loyalty, that you always try to see the good in people, that you believe everyone deserves another chance. And that's exactly what they count on. They rely on your empathy, your tendency to overlook, your hope that maybe this time things will be different. But the truth is, someone who hurts you intentionally never learns a lesson from your forgiveness. They learn that they can get away with it. They don't change because they face no consequence. They just become more careful in how they disguise their manipulation. Giving a second chance to someone who betrayed your trust doesn't just risk another heartbreak. It guarantees emotional exhaustion. Every time you try again, a part of you breaks a little more. You start doubting your instincts, questioning your worth, and wondering if maybe you're the problem. That's exactly what they want. To make you feel small enough to accept their behavior as normal. And by doing so, they keep control over your emotions. You can't heal by returning to what hurt you. You can't rebuild peace in the same place that shattered your spirit. When someone has proven that their love comes with pain, their apologies mean nothing. They don't want reconciliation. They want access. They miss the power they had over your emotions, not the person you are. Every second chance becomes another opportunity for them to repeat the same destruction, only more quietly, more strategically. That's why protecting yourself sometimes means refusing to reopen the same door that burned you the first time. Growth isn't just about healing. It's about recognizing when it's time to stop fighting for something that's already proven it can't give you peace. You can't evolve if you keep standing in the same fire that once burned you, hoping it will start to feel warm instead of painful. Painful. Growth begins the moment you stop begging for closure from people who shattered you on purpose. It's when you stop needing them to understand what they did. Stop hoping they'll feel the same pain they caused. And start realizing that walking away is not weakness, it's wisdom. You learn that protecting your heart is not selfish, it's survival. When you walk away, you take your power back. You no longer let them control your emotions or dictate your worth. Growth teaches you that silence can speak louder than confrontation. You don't owe explanations to someone who never valued your feelings. You don't owe forgiveness to someone who weaponized your loyalty. You simply owe yourself peace. And peace only begins when you finally close the chapter that has been poisoning your spirit. Growth is not about holding on until they change. It's about accepting that they may never change and choosing to move forward anyway. It's a hard truth to accept because your heart still remembers the good moments, still clings to the version of them you once loved. But growth forces you to see reality, not memories. It helps you understand that love should not hurt this much and loyalty should not leave you empty. You realize that some people were only meant to be lessons, not lifelong companions. Their role in your story was to teach you the value of boundaries, self-respect, and strength. Walking away doesn't mean you stopped caring. It means you started caring about yourself. It means you finally decided that your peace matters more than their excuses. Growth is saying, I deserve better, even when it hurts to let go. Because the truth is, healing doesn't come from giving people endless chances. It comes from giving yourself permission to move on. When you stop chasing closure and start choosing peace, you evolve. You stop reliving the pain they caused and start living the life they tried to break you away from. That's what real growth looks like. There comes a point when you must choose between protecting your peace and pleasing people who only show up to disturb it. The truth is, you don't owe anyone unlimited access to your heart, especially not the ones who mishandled it. Protecting your peace means setting boundaries so strong that no apology can cross them unless it's backed by consistent change. It means learning that love isn't proven by how much pain you can tolerate. You don't have to be the bigger person every time. You don't have to keep being understanding for people who deliberately misunderstand you. You're not weak for walking away. You're strong for finally realizing that not everyone deserves your softness. When someone breaks your trust, it's natural to want to fix things. You replay every conversation, every moment, wondering what you could have done differently. But peace doesn't come from fixing what you didn't break. It comes from refusing to carry guilt that isn't yours. You can care about people and still decide not to let them back into your life. You can forgive someone and still refuse to give them access to your energy. Protecting your peace doesn't mean you hate them. It means you finally love yourself enough to stop letting them drain you. People who betray you will often try to make you feel guilty for cutting them off. They'll call you cold, selfish, or unforgiving. But that's only because they benefited from your lack of boundaries. They thrived when you kept saying yes, when you kept accepting their behavior in the name of love. The moment you say no, they lose control. And that's why protecting your peace feels uncomfortable at first. It challenges the version of you that tolerated too much for too long. Peace isn't found in chaos, and it's not found in people who create it. It's found in silence, in solitude, in finally breathing without fear of the next argument or disappointment. Protecting your peace is not about isolation. It's about elevation. It's about rising above the noise and choosing to live in a space where your soul feels safe. You don't owe anyone endless forgiveness. You owe yourself the calm that comes from walking away from what hurts. The most powerful thing you can do after someone intentionally damages you is to let them live with the loss of you. Not through revenge, not through anger, but through absence. Your silence will echo louder than any argument you could ever make. People who destroy good hearts often believe they can always return, that you'll always be waiting because you've forgiven them before. They assume your loyalty is unconditional, that no matter how deeply they cut you, you'll come back because that's what you've always done. But when you finally decide to walk away and mean it, that's when reality hits them hardest. They realize too late that your presence was a privilege, not a guarantee. Letting them live with the loss means you stop explaining, stop defending, and stop trying to make them see your worth. You no longer chase closure from someone who is comfortable watching you break. Jokes. You no longer wait for them to understand what they threw away. Instead, you leave them with the silence of your absence and the weight of their own actions. Because eventually, they will feel it. The emptiness where your love used to be. The void where your energy once lifted them. And that's a consequence far greater than any words could ever deliver. You see, when you remove yourself completely, you take away their power. They can't manipulate what they can't reach. They can't control what no longer reacts. You begin to heal in peace while they begin to confront the emptiness they created. That's when they start to replay everything they did, searching for the version of you they destroyed but can never have again. Letting them live with the loss isn't cruelty. It's justice in its quietest form. It's the kind of pain that teaches them what your presence truly meant. In time, they'll realize that no one else will love them the way you did. They'll see your absence in every smile that feels forced, in every connection that lacks depth, in every moment of loneliness that reminds them of you. And by then, you'll be long gone, not bitter, not broken, but free. Because the best revenge isn't hurting them back, it's showing them they no longer have the power to hurt you at all. At some point, you must stop reopening the doors that lead you back to pain. You've seen their patterns, you've felt their intentions, and you've learned the cost of giving them another chance. You cannot keep calling it love when it's destroying your peace, and you cannot keep mistaking forgiveness for permission. Every time you return to what broke you, you tell your soul that it doesn't deserve better. And that's a lie you can no longer afford to believe. The truth is, they didn't change. You did. You grew stronger, wiser, and more self-aware. You learned that love doesn't mean tolerance, that peace is more valuable than apology, and that silence can be the loudest answer you ever give. People who damaged you intentionally don't deserve a front row seat to your healing. They don't deserve to witness the strength that grew from the pain they caused. Let them wonder, let them regret, but never let them back in. This is your moment to choose yourself. For real this time. No more second chances for those who took your kindness as weakness. No more explanations to those who never listened. No more revisiting the same pain, hoping for a different ending. Protect your peace like it's sacred because it is. Walk away without hesitation, without guilt, without apology. Your healing is not found in proving your worth to those who broke you. It's found in walking away from them for good. So close that chapter, lock the door, and throw away the key. Let your distance be your boundary and your silence be your revenge. Because the most powerful thing you can ever do is not to hate them, but to finally outgrow them.